Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. The movie begins with a poor family, where the father, Ty, is sewing shoes for his son, Dickie, who is about to go to school. Dickie is going for his first day at school, but his condition is difficult. He's wearing dirty, worn out, and torn clothes, and even the shoes he's walking in are ripped. Unlike the other students who are going to school with their father or mother, riding in cleaner cars and wearing the finest clothes, the school they attend is very fancy and expensive, which contrasts with Dickie's simple situation. As soon as Dickie enters the school, he is stopped by Mr. Cow, the teacher, who asks him about his shabby clothes and why he isn't as clean as the other students. Dickie approaches him to talk, but the arrogant teacher stops him and says, "Stand back, don't come near me, or you'll dirty me like you." At this point, Dickie feels sad about the situation and the position he's in, which is far from enviable. Ms. Ewan, who overhears the conversation, steps in and tries to calm things down. She tells Mr. Cow that she will handle the matter herself. Cow then walks away, leaving her with Dickie. Then, Ewan asks Dickie, "Why are your clothes so shabby? And where are your father or mother? Why didn't they come with you?" Dickie replies, "I fell on the way here, which is why I got dirty. My mother passed away a long time ago, and I live with my father who works as a construction worker, and he can't miss a day of work just to take me to school." At this point, Dickie really touches the teacher's heart. She wipes his face and tries to straighten out his clothes. After that, Dickie leaves her to go to his classroom with the other students. In the classroom, Mr. Cow is with the students, getting to know them. He asks each one, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Each student shares their dream, such as becoming a pilot, an engineer, an actress, or a football player. Then it's Dickie's turn, and he tells the teacher, "I've never really thought about what I want to be, and it doesn't matter to me what I become. My dad told me that as long as I'm smart and respectful, everyone will like me, and no one will bother me." But at this point, all the students start mocking and laughing at him. No one pays attention to his words or likes him, except for one little girl who claps for him. Then, Mr. Cow's pen falls, and when Dickie bends down to pick it up, he yells at him, ordering him to leave the pen and stay away from anything that belongs to him because he finds him disgusting. Then, Dickie feels completely outcast at school. No one likes him or cares about anything he says or does. All the students are from wealthy families, and he's the only one whose father is poor, living in very humble conditions. During the recess, Dickie goes out to walk around the playground. He sees all the other kids standing with their friends, while he's the only one who has no one and walks alone in the school. He finds a group of friends standing together, watching a game called CJ7. Dickie approaches to join them, but a bully pushes him away and prevents him from standing with them. The bully then goes around to all the students, mocking them and their situations. He tells one short student, "If you keep eating a lot, you'll get even shorter." He then sees a chubby girl named Maggie and says, "If you keep eating a lot, you won't be able to move from your spot." At this point, Dickie steps in and defends Maggie, pushing the bully away. Then it's time for physical education class, and all the students go to play except for Dickie, who has torn sneakers and no other sports shoes. He stands alone on the side, watching them from a distance. Then Maggie comes over to him and says, "I pretended not to have sports shoes so I could stand next to you and not leave you standing alone like this." She then asks him about his torn sneakers, where he got them from, and why he doesn't have new shoes. Dickie replies, "We don't have money, and our situation is humble. My father gets these shoes from the trash bins he finds on the road and tries to repair them for me. I hope that one day I'll have a new pair of shoes like the other kids." But Maggie says, "I don't want you to get new shoes just to stay here with me. I hope we never have to be apart." Dickie worries that Maggie might be trying to flirt with him. Then we see Dickie's father, Ty, working hard and struggling for a living. Ty is in a difficult and weak condition because he has spent all his money on his son's education and school to provide him with a better life than his own. T struggles to push a cart full of bricks, and the manager comes over wanting to fire him because he's weak and not useful for the work. However, T explains that his most important concern is his son. He wants him to continue his education and become one of the best students so that his son's life will be different, better, and happier than his own. At that moment, T touches the manager's heart, and the manager decides to give him a different, easier job instead of pushing the heavy cart of bricks, which requires good health. Unfortunately, Ty's health has been compromised by smoking and cigarettes. At the end of the day, T returns home to his son and brings a fan to help with the heat they're living in. However, when they try to turn it on, it doesn't work and turns out to be broken. At this point, Dickie treats his father rudely and asks, "Did you get this fan from the trash as well?" His father replies, "No, I bought it with money, but I don't know what's wrong with it. I tested it before bringing it home." Dickie continues to mock his father, saying, "The guy probably tricked you, man." Ty is hurt by his son's words and replies, "How can you talk like that? Where did you get this attitude from?" Dickie responds, "From a bully at our school." However, his father instructs him to speak respectfully and not to mock others. He emphasizes that behaving like a bully is unacceptable and that people should be respected and seen as valuable from a young age. They spend the entire day together, eating simple food and then playing with each other. They kill cockroaches with their hands, which is their way of having fun due to their modest circumstances. Then they sleep in each other's embrace. The next morning, they wake up early and go to watch cartoons displayed on the store's screens, since they don't have a television at home. At that time, the news comes on, and a spokesperson announces that they have discovered extraterrestrial beings in spacecrafts roaming the country throughout the night. However, Dickie and his father don't pay much attention. Dickie leaves his father and goes into a mall. Ty chases after his son, and when he enters the mall, he finds Dickie standing next to the games section, holding a CJ7 toy. Dickie tells his father that he wants to buy the toy because every other student has one, except for him. However, Ty doesn't have enough money and refuses to buy the toy. He tells Dickie that he will get him a toy at another time, but Dickie insists on having the toy now, pleading with his father and promising that he won't ask for anything else. However, his father hits him to make him leave with him. Dickie cries and runs out of the mall, upset. As soon as he exits, he encounters Ms. Ewan, who notices that he is crying. She learns from him that his father refused to buy the toy. Ewan tells T, every child Dickie's age wants to buy toys like the other kids. Ty, feeling embarrassed, explains to her, I will get him the toy he wants, but I forgot the money at home and didn't plan for it. Afterward, Ewan offers to take Dickie to her home and give him extra lessons to help improve his level and make him one of the best students in his school. T agrees to let Ewan take Dickie with her. However, Dickie refuses to leave with his father and clings to Ewan. Ewan tells him, go with your father now and I'll see you again soon. Dickie goes home with his father, still upset and dejected because he didn't get the toy he wanted. Later that night, T goes out to search through the trash to find a toy similar to the one Dickie saw in the mall. At that time, a spacecraft appears behind him, but he doesn't notice it at all. He eventually finds a space-themed toy and takes it home to his son to cheer him up and make amends. When T returns home, he finds Dickie studying and not responding to him, still acting upset. Ty tells him, I didn't come back empty-handed, I brought you a nice toy. Dickie gets excited when he sees the toy and really likes it. The next day, he takes it to school and shows it to his classmate, whom he likes. However, she isn't impressed, and she leaves him and walks away. Later, his friends, who mock him, tease him about his toy, guessing that his father must have found it in the trash. Dickie gets angry and tells them to stop talking about his father like that. However, the bullies whistle, and a big kid comes over, hitting Dickie and throwing him far away. Afterwards, the big kid takes a lollipop from the bullies as a reward for beating up Dickie. When Dickie returns home, bruised and beaten, his father scolds him for getting into a fight with his classmates and is initially angry, intending to hit him with a stick. However, he decides against it and instead uses a rolled-up newspaper to hit him so it doesn't hurt as much. Then, Dickie notices that his toy ball has many scratches and runs to show it to his father. While he's doing this, he sees a ghost hanging from the ceiling, and he screams in fear. Ty quickly comes over and scolds Dickie after realizing that the ghost was just a light bulb. He warns his son that if he makes any more noise or causes trouble, he'll have to spend the night outside alone until morning. Later, Dickie sees the ball moving by itself inside the closet. He tries to make strange movements out of fear, not wanting to scream and risk being hit by his father. Eventually, he can't hold it in and screams. His father doesn't believe him and locks him inside the closet with the toy. Dickie continues to scream and knock on the closet door, trying to get his father to let him out, but his father ignores him completely. Inside the closet, the ball starts to glow and transports Dickie to a strange, otherworldly realm in space. Dickie is terrified and unsure of what to do. Then, a strange being appears and starts to return Dickie to the closet, calming him down so his father will let him out. Once Ty opens the closet and lets Dickie out, he leaves. Dickie stays with the alien being that appeared from the ball, befriends it, and names it CJ7. They begin to play together, and Dickie is very happy. The alien likes the name CJ7 and accepts it. Dickie spends the whole night playing and dancing with CJ7, feeling overjoyed and grateful to have a companion while his father is away. Later, CJ7 approaches a rotten apple, and it magically turns into a fresh apple. Dickie eats it, delighted. The next day, Dickie and CJ7 head to school together. On the way, Dickie takes CJ7 with him to deal with the dog that chases him every day. CJ7 defeats the dog and gives it a severe beating. When they arrive at school, Dickie tells CJ7, I have an exam today and haven't studied anything. I need your help. CJ7 then gives Dickie a pair of glasses that allow him to see the answers on the test paper. Dickie wears the glasses and performs well on the exam, achieving a perfect score, which makes him very happy. The teacher becomes suspicious of the glasses and asks to examine them. When Dickie throws them to the teacher, they explode and catch fire in the air. damaging the teacher's face. The teacher is unable to figure out the secret behind the glasses. Dicky asks CJ7 to get him a pair of sports shoes for gym class. CJ7 creates a distinctive red and black pair of shoes for him. Dicky then runs to play with the other kids, and he manages to jump very high, breaking the record for the highest jump. He is thrilled with his achievement. Later, Dicky breaks the record in running, becoming the fastest student. He also excels in soccer and becomes the best player. Additionally, he faces his kung fu teacher and defeats him, delivering a strong beating. At this point, Teacher Cow calls the police to arrest Dicky. However, Dicky flies up into the sky and makes a gesture with his hand, causing everyone below to forget everything that happened that day. Meanwhile, CJ7 flies with Dicky and helps him. Later, Ty wakes Dicky up, and Dicky realizes that everything he experienced was just a dream, and none of it actually happened. After waking up, he sees CJ7 beside him. Dicky wants to try out everything from his dream. He takes CJ7 to confront the dog, but the dog destroys CJ7 and attacks him. Later, Dicky tries to use CJ7's help for the exam, but CJ7 ends up making a mess, and its smell is so bad that Dicky is kicked out of the classroom. When Dicky asks CJ7 to make him sports shoes, CJ7 creates them, but they have a terrible smell. The teacher brings out water hoses and floods the field to clean up the mess. Dicky starts to mistreat CJ7, drowning him in water and then throwing him into the trash bin before leaving. Feeling guilty, Dicky goes back to retrieve CJ7 but discovers that the garbage truck has already taken the trash away. Dicky runs after the garbage truck but can't catch up. Later, he returns home, crying, only to find that CJ7 is already at the house. When Ty asks where CJ7 came from, Dicky lies and says he got it from a friend, explaining that it's special because it can talk and move. Ty examines the toy and discovers that it's made of rubber and unaffected by anything. Eventually, Dicky confesses the truth to his father and decides to stop lying. Ty learns that the toy was the ball he had bought for Dicky, which had been transformed into CJ7. Ty still doesn't believe Dicky and accuses him of stealing the toy, reminding him that even if they are poor, they shouldn't steal from others. After scolding him, they go to bed together. Later that night, CJ7 wakes up and manages to fix the broken fan, demonstrating his supernatural abilities, although Dicky has yet to fully realize them. The next morning, Dicky heads to school with CJ7 on his shoulder. When he notices the other students looking at him, he instructs CJ7 to hide in the backpack to avoid drawing attention. The students rush towards Dicky, grabbing CJ7 and trying to cut him with a saw, but they can't damage him. A fight breaks out among the students, and Dicky ends up hitting the bully. Just then, the large boy arrives, intending to beat up Dicky, but Maggie steps in and defends him by hitting the large boy. Teacher Cow arrives and sees the students fighting. He takes them to punish them, but they don't reveal anything about CJ7. After Teacher Cow leaves, Dicky thanks the students for not informing him about CJ7. The bully tells Dicky that, although they may fight among themselves, they don't involve others. They all start playing with CJ7 and become friends. They're amazed by CJ7 and ask Dicky to get them another one like him. Dicky informs them that there's only one CJ7 and he has it. The large boy then befriends Maggie and asks her to join his judo team, but she declines because she's afraid the other kids will tease her about her size. All the students encourage Maggie, assuring her that no one will tease her again. She agrees to join the judo team with the large boy, and they all become friends, spending the day together happily. Dicky goes to his father and tells him that he got a perfect score on the exam. His father, Ty, is thrilled and proud, and he shows Dicky's score to everyone at work, celebrating his son's achievement. The manager tells Ty that his son is a cheater and that the perfect score was fabricated. Dicky originally scored 0, but it was changed to 100. The manager shows Ty the difference in ink color on the test to prove the alteration. Ty argues with the manager to prove his son's innocence, but they end up in a physical fight, and Ty is fired. Ty returns home upset, revealing to his son that he has worked tirelessly and sacrificed his own needs to provide the best education for him. His son exploited his lack of literacy to appear brilliant and score top marks. He asks his son if he falsified his exam results. Dicky explains that he did it to make his father proud and to show his appreciation for the hard work Ty puts in for him. Despite the lie, Dicky's intention was to ensure his father would not be disappointed. Ty belittles Dicky, emphasizing how hard he works for him. Dicky, frustrated with their life and tired of the poverty, becomes angry. Ty then takes CJ7 from Dicky and says, "I'll give it back to you when you study." Dicky, infuriated, demands that his father leave his life. T promises that if Dicky scores 60 out of 100 on his next exam, he will step out of his life and let him live independently. Dicky agrees to this. Dicky leaves for school but forgets his lunch. Ty follows him to school, meets Ewan, and gives her Dicky's lunch. Yuan tells Tai that she will give Dicky extra lessons after school to help him improve his academic performance. T thanks Yuan very much for her help without charge, but Yuan tells him that it's her job to take care of all the students, especially those like Dicky. T goes to his workplace to apologize to the manager and ask to be reinstated. However, he is surprised when the manager apologizes to him and gives him a large sum of money to pay for his son's school fees. The manager assures him that his son will be very talented. Tai thanks him profusely. While Tai is working, the rope he is handling gets tangled around his leg. A heavy object attached to the end of the rope pulls him down from the building, causing him to fall to the ground. The workers try to rescue him. He sustains severe injuries from the fall. Tai is quickly transported to the hospital, and Yuan learns about the accident. She takes Dicky out of school, and they both go to the hospital to wait for the surgery to finish. Unfortunately, T dies from his injuries, leaving Dicky in shock and crying over his loss. Dicky is deeply saddened by his father's death, especially since he has improved academically, and his grade is 65 out of 100, which is more than the 60 he had promised his father. It feels as though his father kept his promise even after his death, having reached the goal they had set. Then Dicky returns home with his teacher, Yuan, who sees how difficult and nearly impossible life is in their home. Dicky, however, asks about his father as if he can't believe that he is really gone. But Yuan explains to him that his father died because of the accident when he fell from the building. At this point, Dicky starts to understand and cries hysterically, struggling to believe that his father is truly gone. Dicky kicks Yuan out of the house and tells her that his father is not dead. He is just out on an errand and will come back soon. He then goes to his bed and continues to cry. Completely devastated, Yuan sits on the ground by the door, crying and devastated, because Dicky has no one left after his father's death, following his mother's passing. At that time, CJ7 is in the hospital inside T's bag. It comes out, finds T dead beside it, and uses its powers to bring T back to life. Dicky wakes up and finds his father, Tai, sleeping next to him, with no memory of what happened. Dicky hugs his father. Later, Dicky sees that CJ7 is weak and unable to stand. CJ7 suddenly transforms into a small teddy bear after having sacrificed itself to keep Tai alive so he could continue living with Dicky. Dicky is deeply saddened by CJ7's condition and keeps the teddy bear around his neck at all times, holding onto the hope that CJ7 might return to life as before. During this time, both Dicky and his father, Tai, experience a significant improvement in their circumstances. One day at school, Dicky sees a spaceship passing overhead, and a large number of creatures similar to CJ7 descend from it.